Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The elected president is to protect our reserves. These are your hard-earned savings, your CPF money, which is looked after on your behalf by the government. Presently, the only safeguard is the integrity of the PAP government. If an irresponsible, unscrupulous, and dishonest government should one day come into power, they can spend your money without telling you about it. When you retire at 55 and try to withdraw your CPF, it will be gone. Hence our proposal to create an elected president. First, to safeguard reserves, and secondly, to protect the integrity of the civil service. How can he do this? The elected president must consent if the government wants to spend reserves which it itself has not accumulated. To make certain key appointments, for example, appointments to members of the Public Service Commission or judges of the Supreme Court. The elected president will have the custodial powers to say no in these two key areas, and the moral authority to block the elected government, again in these two areas. He will not have the right to initiate policies himself, even in these two areas. Be given any powers in other unrelated areas, or be an executive president, like the US or French president. It is a two-key safeguard mechanism. To unlock the reserves and take out the money, both keys must be used. The Prime Minister and his cabinet hold one key, and the President the other. The veto powers over key appointments are necessary to protect the judiciary, the SAF, and other key institutions from political corruption, to prevent an unscrupulous government from packing the Public Service Commission or the MAS with corrupt appointees who will do their bidding and spend the reserves secretly without telling you or even the elected president. The opposition have claimed that the elected president's proposal is designed for Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. In fact, the PM has told the cabinet that he was not interested in the job. He wanted to say this publicly. I have told him not to do so, because I know that there are many Singaporeans who would like him to be the first elected president. And anyway, he should not close the option, because I believe he has a lot to contribute to Singapore even after he has stepped down as Prime Minister. He is a national resource. The elected president proposal is a major change in the Constitution. That's why the PAP wants it to be thoroughly discussed and debated and endorsed by Singaporeans. The government has been thinking about this, about how to safeguard your reserves, since 1982. The elected president was first publicly discussed in 1984, before the last general election. And the government has deliberately released the white paper on the elected president before this general election, so that it will be fully debated before the electorate. After the general election, the government will table a bill in Parliament on the elected president. The proposal will be put to a select committee so that more views can be heard. I do not believe in government by referendum. But if despite the prolonged consultation, at the end of the process, there is no consensus on the elected president, then despite my reservations, we will put the question to a referendum. In 1984, both Workers' Party and SDP campaigned on the platform of denying the PAP a two-thirds majority so that it could not amend the Constitution to create an elected president. They failed. The government had a time and a majority to push the elected president's proposal through this year before we call for an election. It chose not to. Why should it want to ram through the elected president's proposal or any other hidden proposals after the general election? Why should it want to do so when we have not done